why emotional intelligence matters more than IQ, and how it shapes relationships and leadership. Welcome to TDR, Learn and Entertainment. Let me ask you a question that deserves honest reflection. Why do some people who are extremely intelligent still struggle in life, in relationships, and in leadership, while others who were never considered the smartest in the room seem to navigate challenges with confidence, calm, and clarity? You have seen this before. Someone with degrees, credentials, and knowledge, yet constantly overwhelmed, defensive, or emotionally stuck. And someone else with fewer academic achievements, but emotionally grounded, respected by others, and trusted in difficult situations. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is emotional intelligence. Today, we are going to talk about why emotional intelligence matters more than IQ, and how this often overlooked skill shapes relationships, leadership, and long-term success for children and adults alike. Stay with me and listen carefully, because this lesson changes how we define what it truly means to be intelligent. Understanding the difference between IQ and emotional intelligence. From a very early age, society teaches us what success is supposed to look like. Good grades, high test scores, academic achievement. We praise children for being smart, quick, and knowledgeable, and education absolutely matters. Knowledge opens doors, creates opportunities, and builds understanding of the world. But rarely do we teach children how to manage frustration. Rarely do we teach them how to sit with disappointment. Rarely do we teach them how to communicate emotions, resolve conflict, or recover after failure. Instead, we assume these skills will come naturally with age, but emotions do not disappear when ignored. They accumulate. Think about how many intelligent adults you know who struggle emotionally. They may overreact under pressure. They may shut down during conflict. They may avoid difficult conversations. They may damage relationships without meaning to. That is not a lack of intelligence. That is a lack of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize emotions in yourself, understand what those emotions are communicating, manage emotional reactions, and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. It does not mean avoiding emotions. It does not mean suppressing feelings. It means understanding emotions and guiding them. A child with emotional intelligence still feels anger, sadness, fear, and frustration. The difference is that they learn what to do with those feelings instead of being controlled by them. This single skill changes outcomes in school, at home, in relationships, and eventually in leadership. Let's look at how emotional intelligence shows up in real life. Imagine a child who performs very well academically. They follow instructions, complete assignments, and score high on tests. But when they make a mistake, they panic. When they lose, they shut down. When they are corrected, they feel personally attacked. Now imagine another child. This child may struggle academically, but when something goes wrong, they pause. They feel disappointed, but they try again. They ask for help. They reflect. Which child is better prepared for life? Life does not reward intelligence alone. Life rewards adaptability, communication, emotional control, and resilience. These are emotional intelligence skills. Now think about relationships. Most relationship problems are not caused by lack of love or commitment. They are caused by unmanaged emotions. People without emotional intelligence may interrupt, react defensively, avoid vulnerability, or escalate conflict. People with emotional intelligence listen, pause, communicate clearly, and take responsibility for their emotional reactions. That is why emotional intelligence is the foundation of healthy relationships. Leadership works the same way. Leadership is emotional before it is intellectual. Leaders face pressure, responsibility, conflict, and decision-making under stress. Intelligence alone cannot manage these demands. Emotionally intelligent leaders stay calm during chaos. They read the room. They respond instead of react. They build trust. This applies everywhere, in families, in classrooms, in workplaces, in communities. Children who develop emotional intelligence do not just become better students, they become better leaders. How emotional intelligence is learned and what parents can do. Children are not born emotionally intelligent. They learn emotional skills by watching adults. They watch how stress is handled. They watch how conflict is resolved. They watch how emotions are spoken about or ignored. When children hear, "Stop crying," or "You shouldn't feel that way," they learn emotional suppression. But when they hear, "I see you are upset," or "Let's talk about what you're feeling," they learn emotional awareness. These moments may seem small, but they shape adulthood. Emotional intelligence affects marriage, friendships, career growth, leadership effectiveness, and mental health. Many adult struggles trace back to emotional development that was never guided, not because parents did not care, but because they were never taught either. The good news is this: emotional intelligence can be learned at any age. Parents can teach emotional intelligence by modeling calm responses, validating feelings before correcting behavior, and helping children name and understand emotions. Children do not need perfection, they need guidance. Applying emotional intelligence in daily life. Now, let's slow down and make this practical. Because emotional intelligence is not a theory, it shows up in everyday moments. At home, emotional intelligence looks like a parent pausing before reacting. Instead of yelling, they take a breath. Instead of dismissing emotions, they acknowledge them. Instead of saying, "Stop crying," they say, "I see you're upset. Let's talk about it." These moments teach children that emotions are not dangerous. They are manageable. At home, emotional intelligence means helping children name what they feel, guiding them through frustration, and modeling calm during stress. In school, emotional intelligence shows up when a child does not fall apart after a mistake. Instead of saying, "I'm stupid," they say, "This is hard, but I can try again." That small shift protects confidence. Emotionally intelligent students ask for help, handle correction better, and recover faster from failure. These skills matter just as much as academic performance. In friendships, emotional intelligence helps children read social cues, resolve conflict, and respect boundaries. It helps them understand that words affect others, reactions have consequences, and communication matters. Now think about leadership. Leadership is not about being the loudest or the smartest person in the room. Leadership is about emotional control. A leader who cannot manage their emotions cannot manage people. Emotionally intelligent leaders listen before reacting. They stay calm under pressure. They communicate clearly during conflict. They earn trust because people feel safe around them. These leadership traits are built early. Children who learn emotional intelligence grow into adults who lead with wisdom instead of ego. Pause for a moment and reflect. Where in your life could emotional intelligence change the outcome? At home, at work, in relationships? This is not about perfection. It is about awareness and growth. Final reflection and call to action. Here's the truth. We can teach children what to think, but emotional intelligence teaches them how to live, how to relate, and how to lead. It prepares them for relationships, responsibility, leadership, and real life. Let me ask you a question that almost every parent, teacher, and adult has thought about at some point. Is it better to be book smart or street smart? We all know someone who did extremely well in school, earned good grades, followed the rules, and still struggled once real life began. And we also know someone who didn't enjoy school, didn't shine academically, but somehow learned how to navigate people, problems, and pressure with confidence. So which one really matters more? The truth is uncomfortable for some people. Neither one is enough on its own. Today, we're talking about book smart versus street smart, why both are important, and how parents and kids can build the right balance so children are prepared not just for school, but for life. Stay with me, because this conversation changes how we define success. And please stay to the end for a special thank you. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. This helps us to keep producing free educational content to help parents shape the next generation. Number 1. The core concept: what book smart and street smart really mean. When people say someone is book smart, they usually mean a few specific things. They mean that person understands academic material, performs well on tests, learns information quickly, follows structured systems well. Book smarts matter. They help children build knowledge, develop thinking skills, and access opportunities through education. But book smarts alone do not teach someone how to handle pressure, read social situations, make decisions in uncertain moments, Communicate under stress. That's where street smarts come in. Being street smart does not mean being reckless or ignoring rules. Being street smart means understanding people, reading situations, adapting quickly, thinking practically, protecting yourself emotionally and socially. Street smarts help children navigate real-world situations that don't come with instructions. But here's the problem. When children develop only one of these and not the other, gaps appear. And those gaps often show up at the worst possible moments. Before we go any further, let's pause for just a moment. Today's video is sponsored by TDR, LearnAndEntertainment.com. TDR, Learn and Entertainment, was created to support families with values-based books and educational resources focused on life skills, emotional intelligence, and real-world readiness. On the website, you'll find children's books that teach respect, responsibility, and emotional awareness, parenting guides that focus on character and confidence, and educational tools designed to help families grow together. Everything at TDR, LearnAndEntertainment.com is built around preparing children not just for school, but for real life. Visit TDR, LearnAndEntertainment.com to explore resources created with purpose and care. Now let's continue. Number 2. Real-life impact. What happens when there is no balance? Let's talk about what this looks like in real life. A child who is only book smart may do very well academically. They follow directions, they complete assignments, they meet expectations. But when structure disappears, they may struggle. They may freeze under pressure. They may panic when things don't go as planned. They may struggle socially. They may rely too heavily on rules without understanding context. Imagine a student who always knew exactly what to do because instructions were clear. Now imagine that same student in a real-world situation where instructions are unclear, expectations are unspoken, and people respond emotionally. Without street smarts, that child may feel lost. Now look at the opposite. A child who is only street smart may be socially aware and adaptable. They read people well, they think quickly, they respond confidently, but without academic discipline, they may avoid long-term goals, resist structure, struggle with consistency, miss opportunities that require education. Imagine a child who can talk their way through situations, but avoids effort when things become difficult. Over time, that avoidance creates limits. Life does not reward extremes. Real success comes from balance. Think about adulthood. At work, being book smart helps you understand tasks and systems, but being street smart helps you communicate with coworkers, navigate office dynamics, handle conflict, and adapt to unexpected change. In relationships, book smarts don't teach empathy. Street smarts help you read emotions, recognize tone, and respond with awareness instead of reaction. Balance is not optional. It is essential. Number 3. How book smart and street smart skills are learned. Here's something important to understand. Children are not born knowing how to balance these skills. They learn them, and they learn them mostly from adults. Book smarts are usually taught intentionally. Schools, homework, tests, and routines all reinforce academic intelligence. Street smarts are learned through experience, guidance, and observation. Children watch how adults handle stress, respond to conflict, talk to others, make decisions. If parents focus only on grades, children may learn that performance matters more than judgment. If parents focus only on survival and adaptability, children may miss structure and discipline. Balance is taught when adults value education and emotional intelligence, encourage thinking and feeling, teach rules and context. Children need both guidance and experience. They need to know when to follow the rules and when to think critically. Number 4. Application and guided reflection. Now let's slow down and make this practical. At home, balance starts with conversations. Not lectures, conversations. Parents can ask questions like, what did you learn today? What was challenging about it? How did you handle that situation? These questions build reflection and awareness. Parents can also model balance. When adults explain why decisions are made, admit mistakes, and adapt when plans change, children learn flexibility and responsibility at the same time. At school, balance looks like encouraging effort and growth. Not just asking if homework is done, but asking what was learned. Not just focusing on grades, but but talking about problem solving and persistence. In daily life, balance means teaching children that knowledge matters, people matter, choices matter. Pause for a moment. Think about your own life. Where did book smarts open doors for you? Where did street smarts protect you or help you adapt? Children benefit when adults share these lessons honestly. This is not about raising perfect children. It is about raising prepared children. Now let's slow this down and go deeper, because this topic deserves more than quick answers. Think about real life for a moment. Life rarely gives us clear instructions. There is no test guide for relationships, no rubric for friendships, no answer key for conflict. This is where book smarts alone fall short. A child may know the right answer on paper, but still struggle when emotions are involved. Imagine a child who knows the rules, but doesn't know how to handle disappointment. They may freeze, they may shut down, they may avoid the situation altogether. That's not a failure of intelligence. That's a missing life skill. Now imagine a different child. This child understands people. They read tone, they sense tension, but they avoid structure. They skip effort. They resist discipline. Over time, that also becomes a problem, because life rewards people who can think and adapt at the same time. This balance shows up everywhere. At work, people don't lose jobs because they're not smart enough. They lose jobs because they react emotionally, can't communicate, don't adapt to feedback, struggle with pressure. In relationships, people don't drift apart because they lack intelligence. They drift apart because they don't listen, they don't communicate clearly, they react instead of reflect. Street smarts help people survive situations. Book smarts help people build futures. Children need both. Now pause and think about your own life. Where did book smarts help you succeed? Where did street smarts save you from a bad decision? Where did a lack of balance create struggle? These are the lessons children need to hear, not as lectures, but as lived examples. Parents don't need to be perfect. They need to be intentional. When parents explain decisions instead of just enforcing rules, children learn reasoning. When parents admit mistakes instead of hiding them, children learn accountability. When parents balance structure with flexibility, children learn wisdom. This is how balance is taught, not in one conversation, but over time, moment by moment, situation by situation. That's how book smarts and street smarts come together. Here is our final reflection and the truth. Book smarts help children learn. Street smarts help children live. When children learn both, they become adaptable, confident, and capable of handling real life with wisdom. The goal is not to raise children who are only academically strong or only streetwise. The goal is to raise children who can think clearly, read situations, communicate effectively, and make wise decisions. Emotional regulation. Instructing kids to pause before reacting. Let me ask you something that may feel very familiar. Have you ever watched a child react so fast, so emotionally, that it felt like there was no thinking involved at all? One moment, everything is calm. The next moment, there's yelling, crying, slamming doors, or complete shutdown. Now here's the real question. Is that bad behavior, or is it a missing skill? Please like and subscribe to this channel, and stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift from us at TDR Learn and Entertainment. Today, we're talking about emotional regulation, why children react before they think, and how teaching kids to pause before reacting can completely change behavior, communication, and emotional health for life. Stay with me, because this one skill can change everything. Number 1. What emotional regulation really is. Emotional regulation is not about stopping emotions. It is not about suppressing feelings. It is not about forcing children to calm down. Emotional regulation is the ability to notice an emotion, slow down the reaction, and choose what to do next. It is the space between feeling and action. Children are not born with this skill. They feel emotions intensely, but they don't yet know how to manage them. That's why children often react quickly, say things they don't mean, act before thinking, struggle to explain what they feel. This is not defiance. This is development. The problem is that many adults expect self-control before children are taught how to build it. And without guidance, reactions become habits. Now let's continue. Number 2. What happens when kids can't pause? When children lack emotional regulation, reactions take over. A small problem feels like a big crisis. A simple correction feels like rejection. A mistake feels like failure. Without the ability to pause, emotions run the show. At home, this looks like explosive reactions, defiance, emotional shutdown, power struggles. At school, it may look like difficulty handling feedback, trouble waiting turns, frustration during challenges, behavior that masks overwhelm. Now imagine that child growing into adulthood. Without emotional regulation, adults may react defensively, struggle with stress, damage relationships, avoid responsibility. Many adult conflicts are not caused by lack of intelligence. They are caused by unmanaged emotions. That's why emotional regulation is not just a childhood skill. It is a life skill. Number 3, how emotional regulation is learned. Here's the key truth. Children learn emotional regulation by watching adults. They watch how stress is handled. They watch how conflict is resolved. They watch how emotions are spoken about or ignored. If children see adults react instantly, they learn instant reactions. If children see adults pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully, they learn regulation. Emotional regulation is taught through modeling, guidance, practice, not punishment. Children need help learning what to do when emotions show up. That learning happens in calm moments, not emotional explosions. Number 4, application and guided reflection. Now let's slow this down and make it practical. At home, teaching emotional regulation starts with naming the moment. Instead of reacting to the behavior, adults can say, "I see you're getting upset. Let's pause for a moment." That pause matters. Teaching children to breathe, count, step away, or take space helps the body calm before the mind can think. At school, emotional regulation shows up when children learn that mistakes are not emergencies. Instead of falling apart, they learn to pause and try again. Now pause for a moment and reflect. How often do reactions make situations worse? How often would a pause change the outcome? This is the skill we are teaching. Number 5, why the pause changes everything. Let's go deeper here. The pause is powerful because it gives the brain time to catch up with the emotion. Without a pause, emotions control behavior. With a pause, children gain choice. They learn, I can feel this. I don't have to act on it. I can choose a response. This skill protects relationships. It protects confidence. It protects self-worth. Children who learn to pause grow into adults who handle pressure, communicate clearly, lead calmly, think before reacting. This is not about perfection. It is about awareness and practice. Now let's talk about why emotional regulation is often misunderstood. Many adults believe that if a child reacts emotionally, it means they are being disrespectful, dramatic, or difficult. But most of the time, emotional reactions are signals, not defiance. A child who reacts strongly is often overwhelmed, not disobedient. Think about how often children are told to calm down without being shown how. Relax. Stop crying. Get over it. These phrases don't teach regulation. They teach suppression, and suppressed emotions don't disappear. They build pressure. When pressure builds, reactions become stronger, not weaker. This is why emotional regulation must be taught intentionally. Children need permission to feel, paired with guidance on how to respond. Let's look at a common situation. A child is told no. Immediately, emotions rise. Frustration, anger, disappointment. Without regulation skills, the reaction comes fast. Yelling, crying, shutting down. But when children are taught to pause, something changes. They still feel disappointed, but they learn that disappointment is survivable. They learn that emotions pass. They learn that reactions are choices. This lesson builds resilience. Now think about adults. How many adult conflicts begin with a reaction instead of a pause? Words said too quickly, messages sent too fast, decisions made emotionally. The pause is not weakness. The pause is wisdom. Children who learn to pause grow into adults who can handle conflict without escalation, listen instead of interrupt, respond instead of react. This is leadership. Leadership is not control over others. Leadership is control over self. When children learn emotional regulation, they learn self-leadership. They learn that emotions inform them, but do not control them. This skill protects mental health. It protects relationships. It protects future opportunities. Now pause for a moment and reflect. When was the last time a pause would have changed an outcome in your own life? What conversation might have gone differently? What reaction could have been avoided? These are the moments emotional regulation was meant for. Children don't learn this skill in one lesson. They learn it over time, through repetition, through modeling, through safe guidance. And every pause they practice strengthens that skill. Now let's talk about some real-life examples. Number 6. Now let's bring this into real life. Because emotional regulation is not something children learn in theory. They learn it in moments. Imagine a child doing homework at the kitchen table. The problem feels hard. The answer doesn't make sense. Frustration starts to rise. Without emotional regulation, that frustration turns into anger. The pencil is thrown, the paper is pushed away, tears start to form. The reaction looks like defiance, but the emotion underneath is overwhelm. Now imagine the same moment handled differently. An adult notices the tension. They pause. They say, "I can see this is frustrating. Let's take a breath together." The child still feels frustrated, but now the emotion is named. The pace slows, the body calms. That pause changes the outcome. The child learns that frustration doesn't mean failure. That lesson lasts far beyond homework. Now think about a school setting. A child is corrected by a teacher in front of the class. Without emotional regulation, the child may shut down, get angry, refuse to participate. The correction feels like embarrassment. But a child who has practiced emotional regulation pauses. They feel uncomfortable, but they breathe. They don't explode. They don't disappear. They recover. That recovery is emotional strength. Now let's talk about friendships. A child feels left out during play. Without regulation, the reaction might be crying, yelling, giving up. But a regulated child learns to pause. They still feel hurt, but they think. They may ask to join. They may find another activity. They may talk about how they feel later. That is emotional intelligence in action. Now think about adulthood. An adult receives unexpected criticism at work. Without emotional regulation, the response is defensive. The tone becomes sharp. The relationship is strained. But with regulation, the adult pauses. They listen. They reflect. They respond thoughtfully. That pause protects their reputation and their career. Now think about relationships. A disagreement turns emotional. Without regulation, voices rise. Words are said quickly. Damage is done. With regulation, there is space. There is listening. There is understanding. This is why emotional regulation matters. It shapes childhood. It shapes adulthood. It shapes leadership. Every real-life moment becomes a lesson when children are taught to pause instead of react. Now let's talk about a possible solution. Emotional regulation improves when children are given one simple process they can practice over and over. The goal is not to stop emotions. The goal is to slow the reaction long enough to choose a response. Step 1. Pause. Create space before action. What to teach? Children must learn that they are allowed to pause before reacting. This pause can be 1 deep breath, counting to 5, stepping back for a moment, putting hands on their chest or stomach. What parents say. Let's pause for a moment. Take 1 breath with me. Why this works? The pause gives the brain time to catch up with the emotion. Without a pause, emotions control behavior. Step 2. Name the emotion. Reduce the intensity. What to teach? Help children put words to what they are feeling. Examples. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. I feel embarrassed. What parents say. I see you're feeling frustrated. It looks like you're upset. Why this works? Naming emotions calms the nervous system, reduces overwhelm, helps children feel understood. Children who can name emotions are less likely to act them out. Step 3. Choose a response. Build control. What to teach? Once the emotion is named, guide the child to choose what to do next. Examples. Take a break. Ask for help. Try again. Walk away. Talk about it later. What parents say. What do you want to do next? What would help right now? Why this works? This step teaches children, I have choices. I'm not trapped by how I feel. That belief builds confidence and self-control. How parents support the solution, this is very important. Parents must model the same process. That means pausing before reacting, naming emotions out loud, explaining choices. Example, I'm feeling frustrated, so I'm going to pause and take a breath before responding. Children learn regulation by watching, not lectures. Why this solution works long-term. This method works at home, school, and in public, grows with the child, builds emotional intelligence, improves behavior without shame, strengthens relationships. Children who practice this method grow into adults who handle stress, communicate clearly, lead calmly, respond instead of react. Simple reminder for kids. You can teach children this sentence. I can pause, name how I feel, and choose what to do next. That sentence alone can change behavior over time. Final truth. Emotional regulation is not about control. It's about skill building. When children are taught how to pause instead of being punished for reacting, behavior improves naturally. This solution is simple, repeatable, and powerful. Now let's do a final reflection and a call to action. Here is the truth. Children don't need fewer emotions. They need better tools. Emotional regulation teaches children how to pause, think, and respond instead of reacting on impulse. This one skill strengthens families, improves behavior, and prepares children for real life. Helping kids handle anger without shame. Let me ask you something that every parent, teacher, and caregiver has faced. Have you ever seen a child get angry and immediately be told to stop, calm down, or behave? Maybe you've heard phrases like, "That attitude is unacceptable." "You shouldn't feel that way." "Go to your room until you calm down." Now here's the real question. Are we teaching children how to handle anger, or are we teaching them to feel ashamed of it? Please like and subscribe to our channel and stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift from the TDR family, because today we're talking about how to help kids handle anger without shame, why anger itself is not the problem, and how the way adults respond can either build emotional strength or emotional suppression. Stay with me, because this conversation changes how we see anger forever. Number 1. Understanding anger without shame. Anger is one of the most misunderstood emotions. Many adults were raised to believe that anger is bad, too loud, too uncomfortable, too dangerous. But anger itself is not bad. Anger is a signal. It tells us that something feels unfair, frustrating, or threatening. Children feel anger before they know what to do with it. That does not make them disrespectful. It makes them human. The problem is not anger. The problem is when anger is paired with shame. Shame teaches children, my feelings are wrong. I'm bad for feeling this way. I should hide my emotions. When children feel ashamed of anger, they don't learn control. They learn suppression. And suppressed anger doesn't disappear. It finds other ways out. Number 2, real-life impact. What shame does to anger. When anger is met with shame, children don't stop feeling angry. They stop expressing it safely. At home, shame-based responses can sound like, "Why are you acting like this? You're overreacting." Good kids don't behave this way. At school, it may look like public correction, embarrassment, punishment without guidance. Over time, children may explode unexpectedly, withdraw emotionally, become aggressive, turn anger inward. Now imagine that child growing into adulthood. Anger doesn't disappear with age. It just changes shape. Unmanaged anger can turn into resentment, passive aggression, emotional distance, sudden outbursts. Many adult struggles with anger began in childhood, not because the emotion was wrong, but because it was never guided. Number 3, how kids learn to handle anger. Here's the most important truth. Children learn how to handle anger by watching adults handle anger. If adults react with yelling, children learn yelling. If adults shut down, children learn suppression. If adults pause, name the emotion, and respond calmly, children learn regulation. Anger needs guidance, not punishment. Children need to learn. It's okay to feel angry. It's not okay to hurt others. There are safe ways to express anger. This learning happens through modeling, language, and repetition, not lectures, not shame. Number 4, application and guided reflection. Now let's make this practical. When a child is angry, the first step is validation. Validation does not mean agreement. It means acknowledging the feeling. I see you're angry. That looks really frustrating. Once the emotion is acknowledged, guidance can follow. Let's pause. Let's take a breath. Let's find a safe way to handle this. This teaches children that anger can be felt and managed at the same time. Now pause for a moment. Think about how anger was handled when you were a child. Were you taught how to express it? Or were you taught to hide it? That reflection matters. Number 5. Why anger needs guidance, not shame. Anger often shows up when children feel powerless. They may not have the words. They may not have control. They may not have options. Shame removes safety. Guidance creates safety. When children feel safe, anger softens. They begin to trust the process. They learn that emotions are information, not identity. This is how emotional intelligence is built. Imagine a child who loses a game. Anger rises. Without guidance, the response might be punishment. With guidance, the moment becomes a lesson. I know you're angry. Losing is hard. Let's take a breath and talk about it. Now imagine a teenager who feels misunderstood. Anger shows up as silence or sarcasm. Shame pushes them away. Guidance keeps the connection. Now imagine an adult who was never taught how to express anger. They react fast. They regret words. They damage relationships. That story often begins in childhood. Now let's talk about solutions. Because understanding anger is only helpful if families know what to do with it. Helping kids handle anger without shame requires tools, not punishment. Here are practical solutions that work at home, at school, and in everyday life. The first solution is to separate the emotion from the behavior. Anger is allowed. Harmful behavior is not. Children need to hear this clearly. I understand you're angry. I cannot allow hitting, yelling, or breaking things. This teaches children that emotions are safe, but actions have limits. The second solution is to teach a safe outlet for anger. Anger is energy. If it has nowhere to go, it explodes or turns inward. Safe outlets include taking deep breaths, walking away for a moment, squeezing a stress ball, drawing or writing, talking it out after calming down. These tools give anger a direction instead of letting it control behavior. The third solution is to model anger management as adults. Children learn more from what they see than what they are told. When adults say, "I'm feeling angry, so I'm going to pause before responding," children learn that anger can be handled without shame or fear. This modeling is powerful. It shows children that emotional control is a skill, not a personality trait. The fourth solution is to teach emotional language. Many children act out because they don't have the words. Helping children name anger reduces its intensity. I feel angry because I feel frustrated when. Language turns emotion into communication. The fifth solution is to revisit anger after the moment has passed. Teach children that reflection happens after calm. Later conversations can sound like, "What made you angry? What could we try next time?" This turns mistakes into learning, not shame. Now pause and reflect. Which of these tools were you taught as a child? Which ones were missing? Children don't need perfect parents. They need guided ones. When anger is met with structure instead of shame, children feel safe enough to learn. And when children feel safe, behavior improves naturally. Now let's do a final reflection and a call to action. Here is the truth. Anger is not the enemy. Shame is. When children are taught to understand anger instead of fear it, they grow into adults who can express emotions without harm. Helping kids handle anger without shame builds emotional strength, self-control, and healthier relationships. Empathy. Instructing children to understand other people's feelings. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever watched a child hurt someone's feelings and genuinely not understand why it mattered? Or seen a child struggle to comfort a friend, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't know how? Here's the truth. Empathy is not automatic. It is learned. Please give us a like and share. Stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift. Because today, we're talking about empathy, why it doesn't come naturally to children, and how teaching kids to understand other people's feelings builds stronger relationships, better communication, and future leaders with emotional intelligence. Stay with me, because empathy is one of the most powerful life skills a child can develop. Number 1. What empathy really is. Empathy is the ability to recognize, understand, and respond to the feelings of others. It is not the same as sympathy. Sympathy is feeling bad for someone. Empathy is understanding what someone else may be feeling and responding with awareness and care. Children are born with emotions, but they are not born with perspective. Young children experience the world almost entirely through their own feelings. That is normal development. This is why children may interrupt others, struggle to share, react without thinking about impact, seem self-focused. This does not mean children lack kindness. It means empathy must be taught. Empathy grows when children learn that other people have feelings. Those feelings matter. Their actions affect others. This skill does not develop overnight. It develops through guidance, repetition, and modeling. Number 2. Real-life impact. What happens without empathy? When empathy is underdeveloped, misunderstandings happen easily. A child may laugh when someone is upset, ignore a friend's feelings, say hurtful things without meaning to. This doesn't come from cruelty. It comes from lack of awareness. Without empathy, relationships suffer. Friendships become fragile. Conflicts escalate. Children may struggle socially, even if they are intelligent or well-behaved. Now imagine that child growing into adulthood. Without empathy, adults may interrupt conversations, dismiss others' emotions, struggle in relationships, have difficulty leading others. Many conflicts in adulthood are not about intelligence. They are about lack of understanding. Empathy is what allows people to connect instead of collide. Number 3. How empathy is learned. Here's the most important truth. Children learn empathy by watching how adults treat others. They observe how adults speak when frustrated, how adults listen, how adults respond to emotions. If children see empathy modeled, they learn it. If they don't, empathy stays underdeveloped. Empathy is taught when adults name emotions in others, ask reflective questions, slow down reactions. Simple phrases matter. How do you think that made them feel? What would you feel in that situation? These questions build perspective. Empathy grows when children are guided to think beyond themselves. Number 4. Application and guided reflection. Now let's slow this down and focus on how empathy is practiced in everyday life. Because empathy is not something children learn in a single conversation. It is built moment by moment, situation by situation. At home, empathy begins with how adults respond when emotions show up. When siblings argue, the goal is not to immediately decide who is right or wrong. The goal is to help children understand each other. Instead of saying, "Stop arguing," adults can say, "Let's pause for a moment. Help me understand what each of you is feeling." This teaches children that emotions are worth exploring, not avoiding. When children feel heard, they are more open to hearing others. Empathy grows in that space. At home, empathy also shows up during discipline. Discipline is not just about correcting behavior. It is about teaching awareness. When a child hurts someone's feelings, adults can slow the moment down and say, "You didn't mean to hurt them, but let's think about how they felt. What could you do differently next time?" This shifts discipline from punishment to learning. And learning is where empathy grows. At school, empathy shows up when children learn to notice others. A child who sees a classmate sitting alone may not know what to do. But empathy begins with noticing. Adults can guide this by asking, "Did you notice how quiet they were today? What do you think might be going on?" These small questions train children to look beyond themselves. Over time, empathy becomes a habit. Now let's talk about friendships. Friendships are one of the most powerful places empathy is developed. Conflicts between friends are not failures, they are opportunities. When children argue, feel left out, or misunderstand each other, adults can help them reflect. What do you think your friend was feeling? What were you feeling at that moment? This reflection teaches children that emotions exist on both sides of every story. That understanding builds stronger connections. Now pause for a moment. Think about a time when someone truly understood how you felt. They didn't rush to fix it. They didn't judge you. They listened. How did that change the situation? That feeling of being understood is what empathy gives others. And that is what we are teaching children to offer. Empathy also plays a critical role in leadership. Children who understand others' feelings communicate better. They resolve conflict more effectively. They build trust naturally. Leadership is not about control. It is about connection. And empathy is the bridge. Now reflect on this. When children are taught empathy, they don't just become kinder. They become more confident. They understand people. They navigate relationships with awareness instead of fear. This is not about raising perfect children. It is about raising children who can relate, connect, and grow with others. Empathy turns everyday moments into lifelong skills. Number 5. Real-life examples. Imagine a child who takes a toy from another child. Without empathy, they see only what they want. With guidance, they begin to see the other child's disappointment. Now imagine a child whose friend is quiet and withdrawn. Without empathy, they ignore it. With empathy, they notice and care. Empathy turns moments into connections. Now think about adulthood. Empathy is what allows leaders to inspire trust. It allows parents to guide instead of control. It allows relationships to grow instead of break. Why empathy builds leadership. Empathy is not weakness. It is strength. Leaders who understand people lead better. They communicate clearly. They resolve conflict. They earn trust. Children who learn empathy early grow into adults who can lead with understanding instead of authority. Empathy is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Now let's talk about solutions, because empathy doesn't grow just by telling children to be kind. Empathy grows when children are given tools to understand others. The first solution is to teach perspective through simple questions. Instead of correcting behavior immediately, pause and ask, "How do you think that made them feel? What would you feel if that happened to you?" These questions gently shift attention from self to others. The second solution is to name emotions out loud. Children often miss emotional cues because they don't yet recognize them. Adults can say, "It looks like they felt left out. I think that hurt their feelings." When emotions are named, children learn to notice them. The third solution is to slow down reactions before addressing behavior. Empathy disappears when moments move too fast. When adults pause, children have space to think. That pause allows empathy to show up. The fourth solution is to model empathy consistently. Children learn empathy by watching adults. When adults listen patiently, acknowledge feelings, and respond calmly, children absorb those behaviors. Simple modeling matters. I can see you're upset. I want to understand. The fifth solution is to use stories and real-life examples. Books, conversations, and everyday moments help children imagine other perspectives. Asking questions like, "What do you think this character felt? What would you have done?" builds emotional understanding without pressure. The sixth solution is to separate intention from impact. Children often don't mean to hurt others. Help them understand that even when intentions are good, impact still matters. You didn't mean to hurt them, but your words affected them. This teaches responsibility without shame. Now pause for a moment. Which of these tools were you taught as a child? Which ones were missing? Children don't need perfect empathy. They need practiced empathy. When empathy is guided instead of forced, it grows naturally. Now let's do a final reflection and a call to action. Here is the truth. Empathy helps children connect. It helps them communicate. It helps them lead. Teaching empathy is not about forcing kindness. It is about building understanding. Today, we're talking about something every parent wants, but not every parent knows how to teach. Respect, good manners, character, and here's the hard truth. Good grades don't guarantee good character. Talent doesn't guarantee kindness, and intelligence doesn't guarantee respect. But respect opens doors that education alone never can. Please don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our channel. This helps us to keep producing free educational content for the new generation to come. And stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift. Number 1, core concept. Let me ask you something important. When your child becomes an adult, how do you want people to describe them? Smart, talented, successful, or respectful, kind, trustworthy, and dependable? Because here's something many parents don't realize until it's too late. The world doesn't remember people for what they know. It remembers them for how they treat others. Good manners are not outdated. They are not old-fashioned. They are not optional. They are life skills. Manners teach children how to exist in a world that doesn't revolve around them. They teach patience, self-control, empathy, accountability, When a child learns to say, please, they're learning patience. When they say thank you, they're learning gratitude. When they apologize, they're learning responsibility. And when they respect others, they're learning how to respect themselves. This video and this message is not about creating perfect children. It's about creating grounded children. Children who know how to speak, how to listen, how to respond instead of react. And most importantly, children who understand that character matters more than convenience. Number 2, real-life impact. Let's talk about real life. Not theory, not opinions. Reality. Think about the adults you admire most. The ones people trust. The ones people promote. The ones people want on their team. They're not always the smartest in the room, but they are usually the most respectful. They listen. They communicate clearly. They stay calm under pressure. They handle conflict with maturity. Employers will train skills. They will not train character. Teachers can teach math. They can't teach respect if it wasn't reinforced at home. Friends forgive mistakes. They don't tolerate disrespect forever. Children who grow up learning manners tend to do better in school socially, have fewer behavioral issues, build stronger friendships, navigate conflict more effectively, develop higher emotional intelligence, and later in life, they interview better, they work better with others, they lead better, they build healthier relationships. Respect is not weakness. Respect is confidence under control. But here's the challenge. Many parents assume manners will just happen. They won't. They must be taught, modeled, practiced, reinforced. And that brings us to something important. Before we continue, we want to pause for a moment to let you know that today's video is sponsored by TDR, LearnAndEntertainment.com. TDR, LearnAndEntertainment.com is our official learning platform where families can access educational resources designed to build real-world skills, strong character, and lifelong confidence. From parenting guides and children's books to educational series and practical how-to resources, our goal is simple: to support parents in raising thoughtful, capable, and respectful children in today's world. Everything we create is built to educate, empower, and prepare the next generation. Now let's continue. Let's go even deeper for a moment. Because when we talk about manners and respect, we're not just talking about behavior. We're talking about identity. Children who grow up learning respect don't just behave respectfully. They begin to see themselves as respectful people. And that self-image matters more than we realize. A child who believes, "I am respectful," will pause before speaking. They will think before acting. They will feel internal responsibility, not just external pressure. This is how internal discipline is formed, not through fear, but through values. Now think about adulthood. Think about job interviews. 2 candidates walk into the room. Both are qualified. Both are intelligent. Both have similar experience. But one listens attentively, makes eye contact, speaks with humility, thanks the interviewer, handles questions calmly. That candidate almost always stands out, not because of talent, but because of character. Respect creates opportunity, and it doesn't stop at careers. Respect shapes marriages, friendships, parenting, leadership. Adults who were taught manners as children are more likely to communicate without yelling, disagree without disrespect, apologize without ego, lead without intimidation. And here's something deeply important. Respect protects children, children who understand boundaries, who know how to say no respectfully, who know their worth, are less likely to be manipulated, less likely to tolerate mistreatment, more likely to stand firm in their values. Respect is not submission. Respect is strength with wisdom. Parents sometimes worry that teaching manners will make children passive. The opposite is true. Manners give children language, language to express needs, language to set boundaries, language to advocate for themselves without aggression. That is real confidence. And it starts early, at the dinner table, in the car, during disagreements, during mistakes. And mistakes matter too, because how we correct mistakes teaches children how to correct themselves later. When a child messes up and hears calm guidance instead of shame, They learn accountability without fear. They learn growth instead of avoidance. They learn that mistakes are lessons, not labels. And this is exactly how emotionally healthy adults are formed. Adults who don't collapse under criticism. Adults who don't explode under pressure. Adults who don't avoid responsibility. Now pause and reflect. Ask yourself quietly, what habits do I want my child to carry into adulthood? What tone do I want them to use when life gets hard? What values do I want guiding their decisions when I'm not there? Because one day, they will make choices without you, and when that day comes, they won't rely on rules. They will rely on values. Values you taught, modeled, reinforced. This is why teaching manners is sacred work. It shapes futures we may never fully see, but we will feel the impact. In the adults our children become. Number 3, how it's learned. So how do children actually learn manners? Not through lectures, not through yelling, not through punishment alone. They learn through repetition and example. Children watch everything: how you speak to your partner, how you respond when you're stressed, how you treat strangers, how you apologize when you're wrong. Your child is always watching. When you model respect, they absorb it. When you lose control, they absorb that too. Manners are learned in small moments: at the dinner table, in the car, at the store, at home. They're learned when you calmly say, "Try that again," with a respectful tone. We wait our turn. We don't speak that way to people. Let's fix what we broke. Not harsh, not humiliating, clear, consistent, calm. Children also learn manners through boundaries. Boundaries are not punishment. They are protection. A child who knows limits feels safer. And safety creates learning. But here's where many parents struggle. They know what to teach. They just don't know how to apply it consistently. Number 4, application plus a guided reflection. Let's slow down for a moment. Ask yourself this: what behaviors do I correct immediately? What behaviors do I overlook? What behaviors do I model daily? Now think about your child. Where do they struggle most? Tone of voice? Interrupting? Patience? Empathy? Respecting authority? Awareness is the first step. You don't need to fix everything at once. You choose one behavior, one habit, one focus, and you work on it together. Practice, reinforce, repeat. This is how habits are formed, not overnight, but over time. Here's something powerful to remember. Manners are not about controlling children. They are about preparing them. A respectful child becomes a confident teenager. A confident teenager becomes a capable adult. A capable adult becomes someone others trust. And trust? Trust is currency in the real world. Parents often worry about the future, but the future is built quietly in daily routines. Every time you correct with love, every time you model calm, every time you reinforce respect, you are shaping an adult. So what's the solution? Clarity, consistency, modeling, practice. Teach manners intentionally, reinforce them daily, correct calmly, praise effort, use real-life situations as lessons. Don't wait for school, don't wait for problems, start now. Because respect learned early becomes instinct later. Now let's do a final reflection and call to action. As we close, remember this: you are not just raising a child, you are shaping a future adult, someone who will interact with teachers, employers, friends, strangers, family. The lessons you teach today echo for decades. Let me ask you a question many parents don't say out loud. Have you ever watched a child melt down emotionally and thought, if you could just tell me what's wrong, I could help you? Or seen a child shut down completely, not because they don't feel anything, but because they don't know how to express what they're feeling? Here's the truth. Most challenging behavior is not defiance. It's unspoken emotion. Please stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift. Because today, we're talking about how to help kids express feelings in healthy ways, why emotions often come out as behavior, and how teaching emotional expression builds confidence, communication, and emotional intelligence for life. Stay with me, because when children learn how to express feelings, behavior begins to change naturally. Number 1. The core concept. Why kids struggle to express feelings? Children feel emotions deeply, often more deeply than adults realize, but they don't always have the language to explain what's happening inside. When a child says, "I'm mad," they may really mean, "I'm overwhelmed." "I feel embarrassed." "I'm disappointed." "I don't feel understood." Children experience emotions before they understand them. Without emotional language, feelings come out sideways. They come out as tantrums, yelling, silence, defiance, withdrawal. This doesn't mean children are being difficult. It means they are communicating the only way they know how. Healthy emotional expression is not automatic. It is a learned skill. Children must be taught how to recognize feelings, name them, and express them safely. Number 2, real-life impact. When feelings are not expressed. When children don't know how to express feelings, emotions don't disappear. They build up. And when emotions build up, behavior changes. At home, this may look like sudden outbursts over small issues, crying that seems to come out of nowhere, refusing to talk or explain, clinging or emotional withdrawal. At school, it may look like difficulty focusing, emotional shutdown, acting out in class, trouble with peers. Without healthy expression, children may quietly believe, "My feelings are too much. No one wants to hear how I feel. I should keep this inside." Now imagine that child growing into adulthood. Adults who were never taught emotional expression may avoid difficult conversations, explode under stress, struggle with emotional intimacy, suppress emotions until they surface unexpectedly. This is why emotional expression is not just a childhood skill. It is a lifelong skill, and it begins with guidance. Number 3, how healthy emotional expression is learned. Children learn how to express feelings by watching adults. They observe how adults talk about emotions, how adults handle frustration, how adults communicate needs. If children hear emotions dismissed, they learn silence. If children see emotions explode, they learn explosion. But when children see emotions expressed calmly and clearly, they learn communication. Healthy emotional expression is taught through language, modeling, repetition. Adults can help children by naming emotions out loud, validating feelings before correcting behavior, encouraging words instead of reactions. Simple phrases matter. "I see you're upset." "It makes sense you feel that way." "Help me understand what's going on." These moments teach children that emotions are safe to express. Number 4, application and guided reflection. Now let's slow this down and make it practical. At home, emotional expression starts with pausing the moment. Instead of reacting immediately to behavior, pause and ask, "What are you feeling right now? Can you help me understand?" Children may not answer right away. That's okay. Silence is part of learning. Over time, children begin to find words. At school, emotional expression looks like teaching children alternatives. Instead of yelling or shutting down, children learn to say, "I'm frustrated. I need help. I don't understand." Now pause for a moment. Think about how emotions were handled when you were a child. Were feelings welcomed or avoided? That reflection matters, because children learn emotional expression in the environment they grow up in. Number 5, turning behavior into communication. Behavior is often a message. When children act out, the question is not, "How do I stop this?" The better question is, "What is this behavior trying to tell me?" A child who yells may be saying, "I feel unheard." A child who shuts down may be saying, "I don't feel safe expressing myself." When adults treat behavior as communication, responses change. Instead of punishment, there is curiosity. Instead of frustration, there is guidance. This shift alone transforms family dynamics. Now let's talk of practical solutions for parents. Now let's talk about solutions. The first solution is to give emotions names. Children can't express what they can't name. Use simple language. "I see frustration." That looks like disappointment. The second solution is to slow emotional moments down. Calm does not come from commands. It comes from presence. The third solution is to model emotional expression. Say things like, "I'm feeling stressed, so I'm going to take a breath." The fourth solution is to separate emotion from behavior. Feelings are allowed. Harmful behavior is not. This distinction builds safety and accountability. Now pause again. Which of these tools would have helped you as a child? Always remember, when feelings are expressed safely, everything changes. Now let's take this one step further. Because teaching children to express feelings in healthy ways doesn't just change behavior in the moment. It changes how they see themselves. When children learn that their feelings are allowed, they begin to trust their inner world. They stop fearing emotions. They stop hiding them. And that trust creates confidence. A child who can say, "I feel overwhelmed," is not weak. They are self-aware. A child who can say, "I feel hurt," is not dramatic. They are communicating. These are skills that protect children later in life. As children grow, emotions become more complex. Disappointment turns into frustration. Frustration turns into stress. Stress turns into pressure. If children don't know how to express these feelings, they don't disappear. They turn into anxiety. They turn into anger. They turn into silence. But when children are taught emotional expression early, something powerful happens. They learn that emotions are information, not threats. They learn that asking for help is safe. They learn that communication is stronger than reaction. Now think about adulthood for a moment. Many adults struggle not because they lack intelligence, but because they never learned how to say, "I'm overwhelmed. I need support. I don't know how to handle this yet." Those words feel difficult because they were never practiced. Children who are taught emotional expression grow into adults who can advocate for themselves, set boundaries, communicate clearly, handle conflict with awareness. This skill shows up everywhere: in relationships, in the workplace, in parenting, in leadership. Now pause and reflect. Think about a moment in your own life when emotions came out as behavior. What would have changed if you had the words back then? That reflection matters. Because when adults heal their relationship with emotions, they teach children to do the same. This is how cycles change, not overnight, but through awareness, guidance, and practice. Helping kids express feelings in healthy ways is not about controlling emotions. It's about freeing children from the confusion that comes when feelings have nowhere to go. Now let's do a final reflection and call to action. Here is the truth. Children don't need fewer emotions. They need better ways to express them. When kids learn to name feelings, talk about emotions, and communicate needs, behavior improves naturally. Helping kids express feelings in healthy ways builds confidence, emotional intelligence, and stronger relationships. Have you ever seen a child who looks confident on the outside, but completely falls apart the moment they fail? Or a child who avoids trying something new, not because they lack ability, but because deep down they don't believe they're enough? Here's the truth. Confidence and self-worth are not the same thing, and confusing the two can quietly damage a child's development. Please stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift from our How to series. Because today, we're talking about confidence versus self-worth, what children really need to believe in themselves, and how parents can build something deeper than surface-level self-esteem. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We want to continue to produce videos to help parents to shape the new generation that's coming. At TDR, we don't teach what to think. We want you and your child to learn how to think. Stay with us, because this conversation can change how you encourage your child forever. Number 1. Confidence versus self-worth. Confidence is built on ability. Self-worth is built on identity. Confidence says, "I can do this." Self-worth says, "I am valuable, even if I can't." Confidence grows when children succeed. Self-worth remains even when they fail. That difference matters. Because confidence rises and falls. It grows with practice. It shrinks with mistakes. But self-worth is stability. It is the belief that value does not disappear when performance does. Many children are praised for achievements, good grades, sports wins, talent, skills. But if praise is always attached to performance, children begin to connect value with results. And that's where problems begin. Because life includes failure. If worth is attached to success, failure feels like identity loss. And that is dangerous. Number 2, when confidence is misunderstood. Let's look at real life. A child who only has confidence may shine when things go well. They answer questions, they perform, they take initiative. But the moment they fail, something shifts. They may quit quickly, avoid trying again, blame others, become overly self-critical. Why? Because their identity was attached to performance. Now imagine a different child. This child has self-worth. They understand they have value, even when they struggle. When they fail, they may feel disappointed, but they do not feel worthless. That difference changes everything. Self-worth allows children to recover. Confidence alone may collapse under pressure. Now pause. Think about your own childhood. When you failed, what did it mean to you? Did it mean, I made a mistake? Or did it mean, I am a mistake? That distinction is powerful. Number 3, how self-worth is built. Children are not born doubting their worth. They learn it. They learn it through comparison, through criticism, through conditional praise, through unrealistic expectations. Self-worth is built when children hear, I love you regardless. You matter, even when you struggle. Mistakes don't reduce your value. Confidence is built through practice. Self-worth is built through security. When parents separate behavior from identity, children grow stronger internally. Instead of, you're so smart, try, you worked hard. Instead of, you're the best, try, I'm proud of your effort. This shift moves identity from outcome to character. Self-worth grows when children are allowed to fail safely, try again, express emotions, be imperfect. Confidence grows from skill. Self-worth grows from acceptance. Children need both. Number 4, application and guided reflection. Now let's make this practical. At home, build confidence through opportunity. Let children try. Let them practice. Let them struggle a little. But build self-worth through connection. When a child loses a game, say, I love watching you try. When a child fails a test, say, this doesn't change who you are. When a child feels insecure, say, you are more than this moment. Pause for a second. When your child struggles, what message do they hear from you? Is it, do better? Or is it, you're still valuable? That reflection matters, because children internalize tone more than words. At school, encourage effort. At home, reinforce identity. Confidence helps children attempt. Self-worth helps them recover. Number 5, the danger of performance-based identity. In today's world, children are constantly compared. Grades, sports, social media, appearance, popularity. If children believe their value depends on ranking, they will always feel insecure, because someone will always be better. Self-worth protects children from comparison. It tells them, you are enough without competing for worth. Now imagine adulthood. Adults who lack self-worth often seek constant validation, fear criticism, avoid risks, tie identity to career or status. Adults with self-worth may still want success, but they are not destroyed by failure. That strength begins in childhood. Number 6, building both together. Confidence and self-worth are not opposites. They are partners. Confidence says, I can grow. Self-worth says, I am already enough. Children who have both are powerful. They try new things. They accept correction. They lead without arrogance. They handle feedback without collapse. Pause again. What did you receive more of as a child? Pressure to perform or reassurance of value? Now think about what you want your child to carry into adulthood. Skill without security or strength with stability? This is the shift. We don't just raise confident children, we raise secure ones. Now let's do a final reflection and call to action. Here is the truth. Confidence helps children achieve. Self-worth helps them endure. Confidence builds courage. Self-worth builds resilience. Children need to believe they can grow. But more importantly, they need to believe they are already valuable. TDR, Learn and Entertainment. Who we are, why we exist, and why it matters. Welcome to TDR, Learn and Entertainment. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever looked at your child and thought, I love you more than anything in this world, but I don't always understand you? Have you ever wondered if you're doing enough? If you're preparing them enough? If school is really teaching what they need, or just testing what they can memorize? Here's the truth most parents don't say out loud. Raising children in today's world feels overwhelming. There's pressure everywhere: grades, social media, comparison, behavior, distraction, confusion about values. And in the middle of it all, parents are trying to build strong human beings. Please stay with us until the end for a free thank you ebook gift. Because today, we're not just talking about a brand. We're talking about a mission, a movement, a purpose. This is TDR, Learn and Entertainment. And we exist for one reason: to help parents understand their children and help children grow into strong, emotionally intelligent adults. Our core mission, TDR, Learn and Entertainment, was created from a simple but powerful belief. Education is more than academics. It is character. It is emotional intelligence. It is leadership. It is resilience. It is identity. A child can be book smart and still struggle in real life. A child can get good grades and still lack confidence. A child can follow rules and still not understand who they are. That's why we focus on something deeper. We help parents understand how their children think, how they feel, how they process the world, and how to guide them intentionally. Because parenting is not just raising kids, it's shaping future adults. Pause for a moment. What do you really want for your child? Not just this year, but 20 years from now. Do you want them to just pass tests or lead their lives with confidence and character? That question changes everything. Real-life impact. Here's what we see happening everywhere. Children are being trained to perform, but not always taught to process. They are tested academically, but rarely guided emotionally. They are compared constantly, but rarely affirmed deeply. And parents are left trying to fill in the gaps. TDR exists to close that gap. We help parents understand emotional regulation, teach confidence without ego, build self-worth without pressure, develop respect without fear, encourage discipline without shame, because children don't misbehave randomly. They communicate through behavior. When a child acts out, there is usually confusion, insecurity, or frustration underneath. When a child withdraws, there is often fear or self-doubt underneath. Understanding changes everything. When parents understand the why behind behavior, discipline becomes guidance instead of punishment, and relationships grow stronger. Education and the power of homeschooling. Let's talk about education. Traditional school systems serve many families well, but they cannot personalize every child. They cannot tailor values for every home. They cannot adjust pace for every learner. That's where intentional parenting matters. And for many families, that's where homeschooling becomes powerful. Homeschooling is not about isolation. It is about customization. It allows parents to adapt to their child's learning style, focus on strengths, support weaknesses patiently, teach life skills alongside academics, reinforce family values consistently. But homeschooling is not just about staying home. It's about staying engaged. Whether your child is in public school, private school, or homeschooled, the real education still happens at home, around the dinner table, during hard conversations. Through daily modeling, TDR supports parents in all education paths. Because the goal is not control. The goal is preparation. Preparation for adulthood. Preparation for responsibility. Preparation for leadership. Application and guided reflection. Now let's bring this home. What does it look like to live the TDR mission? It looks like asking your child how they feel, not just what they scored. Explaining decisions, not just enforcing rules. Teaching respect through modeling, not just demanding it. Encouraging growth, not just performance. Pause and reflect. Do your children feel safe talking to you? Do they know they are loved beyond achievement? Do they see you growing too? Because children don't need perfect parents. They need present parents. They need intentional leaders. They need emotional safety. And they need guidance that prepares them for the real world. TDR, Learn and Entertainment, is here to support that journey. We create content that is practical, conversations that are honest, resources that are usable, and encouragement that is real. From novels, puzzles, kids' stories, books for couples, books for parents. We put our heart behind TDR. This isn't just business. This is legacy. This is about building strong families, about helping parents feel confident, about helping children feel secure, about restoring depth to education. In a world moving fast, we believe in slowing down, in having conversations, in teaching character, in raising leaders. And if you're watching this, it means you care. And that already puts you ahead. Now let's do a final reflection and call to action. Here is the truth. Children don't just need information, they need direction. They don't just need intelligence, they need identity. They don't just need structure, they need understanding. That is the mission of TDR Learn and Entertainment. Before you go, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know in the commentaries what subjects you will like us to make content of. Remember to visit tdrlearnandentertainment.com and sign up for your free ebook from our How To series. You'll be able to choose which book from the How To series collection you'd like to receive, absolutely free, created to help families build confidence, emotional intelligence, resilience, and strong character together. Visit tdrlearnandentertainment.com and take the next step in learning and growth. Thank you for spending this time with us. You got this. Welcome to growth. Welcome to learning. Welcome to TDR Learn and Entertainment.